Time Radio. Time Radio. Time Radio. Time Radio. Time Radio.
The coolest station online.
Yeah.
Time Radio.
That's us.
Plus we play
Bass.
Time Radio.
Navigating legal issues can be challenging, but with the right support and resources, you can find a positive outcome. Navigating legal issues can be challenging, but with the right support and resources, you can find a positive outcome. I take it again. Navigating legal issues can be challenging, but with the right support and resources, you can find a positive outcome. Good afternoon, Ghana. Good afternoon, Africa. And welcome to the World Uncovered Talk Show. It's exactly 4:13 here in our studios in the Greater Accra region, Asalebochwe, precisely Time Radio TV. And if you have just tuned in, don't forget, it's the World Uncovered Talk Show coming your way. We are streaming live on Facebook, Time TV _radio, and on all our social media platforms. You can join us. Don't forget to like, share, and also comment and subscribe. Just as we do it, we start with a motivation, and after the motivation, I'll introduce the topic for the day. Today is you and I, so don't forget to join me on Facebook and share your comments with me. Now let me use this opportunity to say a very good afternoon to all who have joined me on TikTok, and please let's share and also tap the screen to like. Motive OG, Big Joe, thanks for joining. Oh boy Frank, thanks for joining. Prissy, thanks for joining. Mrs. Safo, thanks for joining. Pastor Graham, thanks for joining. Tango, thanks for joining. Ramatu Suleimana, thanks for joining. Let's continue to share and also like. Today I will not waste much of your time. Just give me some 45 minutes and I will be out of here. But before then, let's start with the motivation for today. Don't forget today on the World Uncovered Talk Show, we are in the law court or the law room that we term legal clinic. Here on the legal clinic, we look at things that are confronting us as individuals and how we'll be able to defend ourselves. And before you can defend yourself, at least to a level of knowledge, you have to understand and know the legal system or the laws, the constitution, and the articles of our land.
Time Radio. Time Radio.
As a citizen of Ghana, if you don't know the articles of this country, then you are not yet a citizen. The constitution must be at the tip of your leaves. So navigating legal issues can be challenging, but with the right support and resources, you can find a positive outcome. Quickly on the motivation today, it goes: persist until something happens. Persist until something happens. I take it again. On the motivation, it says persist until something happens. One thing as a young entrepreneur, which I always said should be part of your life, or should be an attitude or a lifestyle, a character you can cultivate, is making sure that you persist, you persevere, you endure to achieve your aims and your dreams in life. A goal without a plan is just as empty as a big head without wisdom. There is an adage in our language that goes, it means a big head without wisdom is just a load to the body. So if you're a young entrepreneur, you have a goal, you have a plan, but yet still you don't work towards it, you don't persist, then it's just a waste of time. One problem of we the upcoming ones is that little things get us discouraged. We barely persist or persevere in our daily persuasions or visions. But one thing you should know is that when you have a vision, it attracts a level of attack, a level of discouragement. And for you to be able to overcome those discouragements and then move forward in life, then you have to persist. You have to persevere. You have to persevere. So this afternoon, as a young entrepreneur trying hard to make life or to make meaning to your life, the only way you can be able to achieve this is when you take it upon yourself to persist, to persevere. Pains will come, challenges will come, troubles may come, disappointment, betrayals, name them, they will all come. But the fact is that when all these things come, it is there to strengthen you, it is there to empower you, it is there to give you more room to focus on whatever you want to do. In my walk of life, I have come to realize that anything I want to do, and it attracts challenges, it attracts attack, it tells me that I'm on the right path. So on the motivation today, all I want to tell you is that persist until something happens. Never give up on the way. Refuse to relent. Refuse to throw in the towel. Refuse to give up. Challenges are not there to kill you. They are there as a stepping stone for you to reach to your next level in life. You ought to persist. You ought to struggle. You ought to persevere. You have to anticipate for good things ahead of you. And for you to be able to achieve those good things, then there is a need for you to persist. So I want to ask you, are you persisting in your daily visions and goals? Are you persisting to move forward in life? Or you always give up when challenges come? Do you normally let go when attacks come? When challenges come, do you normally give up? Do you think you cannot make it? Do you think you are only worrying yourself and there is no way you can achieve your dreams? I am here to tell you that dreams attract challenges. Dreams attract worrisome days and moments. Goals and visions attract rejection, because it's not everyone that is going to believe in that goal. It is not everyone that is going to believe in you. It is not everyone that is going to see reason with whatever you want to do or achieve in life. But the best thing is, when all this thing is happening, you must continue. You know what you carry. You know what you want to achieve at the latter end of your persuasion. Every visioner must always persist to move on in life, to achieve something new in life. Outside that, it will only lead to failure. So as a young entrepreneur starting business, you have to have it at the back of your mind that doing business is not easy. Starting a church is not easy. Starting a business is not easy. Starting a career is not easy. Starting an education is not easy. Starting a skill training is not easy. But you have to persist. You have to do it over and over and over and over again. You must continue when you fail. This reminds me of a motivation or a word that the ex-president, the late president Nelson Mandela said. He said, "Do not judge me the number of times I fall. Do not judge me the number of times I fall, but judge me the number of times I fell and I still rose up to pursue my goal." That is it. So the more you start something, you will surely fall. You will surely fail at the beginning. But that failure shouldn't resist you from continuing with your journey. You have to continue. You have to persist. You have to persevere. You have to be very optimistic, looking forward that no matter what, you will achieve your dreams and your goal. Are you giving up on that relationship? Are you giving up on that marriage? Are you giving up on that career? Are you giving up on that business? Are you giving up on family? Are you giving up on that your child, that your daughter, that your son? There is no need giving up. Nothing good comes by chance or comes easily. You have to pursue it. You have to stand by your visions. You have to stand by your will. You have to stand by your goal. You must always struggle. You must always push forward. When the going gets tough, the tough must get going. That is life. I've come to a point to realize that life is a teacher, and the more you live, the more you learn. We are in the university of the wilderness. We are in the university of the world. And the more we stay or we continue in this university, we will face challenges. We will face troubles. We will face hard times, difficult times, perilous times, rejection times, betrayal times. But the more all this happens, I am here to encourage you that persist. Do not throw in the towel yet. Just relax. Give time to yourself. Reshuffle yourself. Rethink about things that you want to do. Go through the plans again. See through it and pursue it to the end. With this, you will become a victor, and everyone will see you as a victor or someone who is victorious. So don't give up yet. Always persist. Don't feel disturbed. Don't feel rejected. Let people reject you, but don't reject yourself. Stand still and pursue your vision, and you will surely achieve your goals at the right time. I welcome you to the World Uncovered Talk Show, the Law Clinic, this afternoon. Don't forget, we are also streaming live on Facebook. As I said, join me live over there and contribute to the show. My name is Nana Bonsu.
Time Radio.
So today, as I said, I only have 45 minutes to deal with this topic. And the topic, the broad topic we will be looking at today is plea bargain. Plea bargain. Approaching Attorney General for plea bargain. Now, when we talk of plea bargain, what does it mean? What is plea bargain? Plea bargain. Now, the plea bargain regime here in our criminal jurisprudence, after the level of 360-degree formalization in Ghana in 2020. Now, we should know that in this country we have laws and we have bylaws that governs us. We are governed by rule because we are a democratic country, and we believe in the rule of law. Now, so many things happens that push people into prison easily. That is why today I bring this topic, plea bargain. So critically, we'll be analyzing how this plea bargain work in Ghana. How this plea bargain work in Ghana. And as I said, what is plea bargain? In the regime here in our criminal jurisprudence after the level of 360-degree formalization in Ghana 2020. Now, this is what we seek to throw the light of truth on, so that when you find yourself in trouble, you will be able to go in for that. So join me now to learn more into it. Most of the times we find ourselves in troubles, and when you find yourself in these troubles, you can be able to access the plea bargain. You don't go to jail even though you plead to be guilty to a crime. Now, when we talk of the plea bargain, simply we are talking of in a simple term, when we talk of the plea bargain, we are talking of just trying to bargain or get an excuse that would take you out of going to jail, even though you plead guilty to a charge that is being laid against you. So let me give you a short, in my own term, definition of the plea bargain that we are talking about. In a simple term, a plea bargain is an agreement between a person accused of a crime, that is the defendant. A plea bargain is an agreement between a defendant, which is a person accused of a crime, and the prosecutor. And the prosecutor here is the person who has caught you. You see, that is the prosecutor. And the defendant here is the person who commits the crime. So, for example, we are talking of a thief and a police officer. A thief is the defendant, and the prosecutor is the police officer. In other words, the thief is the defendant, and the judiciary or the court is the prosecutor, because everything goes to the court. So when we are talking of plea bargain, we are talking of an agreement between someone who have committed a crime and someone who wants to jail the person who have committed a crime. An agreement between them. The defendant agree to plead guilty to a crime, and in return the prosecutor offers something in exchange. So here, let's take it like someone went and stole a goat. The person stole a goat and he was caught, sent to the police station, and was arraigned before the court. Now, for the defendant to shorten everything, he will now apply for a plea bargain or come to negotiation with the prosecutor, and then the prosecutor will now say, okay, this is what we are going to offer you so that you have your freedom. Or the person will negotiate that, okay, I am going to give up the goat that I have stolen. Yes, I have stolen the goat. I know I am guilty, but I'm going to give the goat out with an amount of money added to it so that I don't go to jail. Even though I am guilty, I don't want to go to jail. I just want to be left alone. So I will give up the goat, and then I will pay an extra money in support to pacify the person whose goat I have stolen. Then when it is done that way, the prosecutor now will decide to also give something in exchange to that. And it can be that the exchange the prosecutor will give might be a lighter sentence, or reduce charges against you, and 3, dropping other charges. So maybe you stole the goat, and you have committed some other minor offenses that they are standing on the goat, and if you don't take time, you will end up in jail, because they are going to bring all those other minor charges against you that will push you into the prison. So you now negotiate with the prosecutor that, okay, I am going to give up the goat, and I'll pay maybe 2,000 Ghana cedis added to it, so that I don't go to jail. Now when you do that, it is now in the jurisdiction or the jurisprudence of the court or the prosecutor to negotiate with the court and said, okay, you have pleaded guilty, but you are applying for plea bargain so that you don't go to jail. So you are giving up the goat and you are paying an amount of money. So with that, maybe you'll be sentenced to a 10 years imprisonment. They can bring it down to either 6 years or 3 years or 1 year. It can even be a day sentence. You go just a day, the following day they leave you. Still you are ex-convict. So in so doing, that is what we call plea bargain. That is what we call plea bargain. Now, quickly moving from there, example of some of this plea bargain as I gave. Another example is, let's say that someone is charged with theft again, but they agree to plead guilty to a lesser charge, like shoplifting. He has stolen, he has taken the goods or taken the grocery without paying. Stealing it. He has stolen the good without paying for it, and he was caught. So in return, the prosecutor dropped the theft charge and recommend a lighter sentence for that person. Why do people go in for plea bargains? Now, before we go there, let me remind you or refer you to some issues that has happened before. Now, if you remember clearly, Donald Trump's potential plea bargain has sparked interest, with some speculating he might drop his 2024 presidential bid in exchange for a deal, which is the plea deal. You know, Donald Trump was involved in so many mistakes, or should I use the word shady deals, that may land him in prison. But for him pleading that, okay, yes, I know I'm guilty, but due to this and this and that, I want to give in this to forfeit my going to jail, even though I plead guilty to the case. So let's take it. A plea bargain prediction, that is NYU professor Scott Galloway predicts Trump might take a plea deal to avoid jail time, citing his age and wealth as factors. Galloway believes Trump might be convinced by the Department of Justice to strike a bargain ensuring no jail time. And also, Christian insight on Trump's issue before the election in 2024. The Republican candidate Christie shared similar views, stating that Trump might take a plea deal due to a fear of jail time. That is the issues that he was having then. Now, the potential term of Trump going to jail was so strong. A positive plea deal could involve Trump's agreeing to certain conditions, such as leaving the public stage in exchange for resolving his legal issues without jail time. Now the question is, why should Trump do this? Or what motivated Trump? Trump's decision was likely to depend on his assessment of the plea deal terms and potential trial consequences. With multiple indictments and charges, including allegation over hush money payments and willful retention of national defense information revealing national secrets, Trump's legal situation is complex by then. But he pleaded for a plea charges or plea deal, and he was given the fees. Now, moving from there, let's come to Ghana. If you could remember the William Ato Essien issue, the former CEO of defunct Capital Bank, who was involved in a high-profile case regarding the bank's collapse. Now, this is what happened in Ghana here. This is what happens. the charges, Asian was accused of engaging in illegal acts that led to dissipation of 620 million Ghana cedis in the liquidity support given to Capital Bank by the Bank of Ghana between June 2015 and November 2016. If you remember, he faced charges of stealing, abetment to stealing, conspiracy to steal, and money laundering. Those are the charges against Asian Williams Atto, the then CEO of Capital Bank. Now, in this, Atto was to be sentenced to prison. But looking at the charges that laid against him, he pleaded guilty by going in or applying or approaching the Attorney General of then AG Dami Goffred and apply for plea bargain. Now, Asian entered into a plea bargain agreement with the state under Section 35 of the Court Act. Under Section 35 of the Court Act, which allow him to plead guilty and pay restitution to avoid a custodial sentence. As part of the agreement, he was convicted on his own plea and ordered to pay 90 million Ghana cedis to the state. So the man defaulted or liquidated the bank to an extent that the bank collapsed on an amount of money of 620 million Ghana cedis. Now, the charges laid against Atto Asian Williams those days was that he has collapsed the bank and he was cited with so many charges. Now, for Atto Asian not to go to jail, looking at all the other evidential charges laid against him, he approached the then Goffred Dami, who is the Attorney General then, and then apply for the plea bargain. Don't forget, we are looking at the topic plea bargain, approaching the Attorney General to apply for plea bargain in time or in terms of not going to jail, even though you plead guilty to a case laid against you. Now, he entered into the plea bargain and he was given the chance to pay 90 million Ghana cedis in order not to go to jail. Now, the payment term under the plea bargain was that Asian was required to pay the 90 million in installments, with 30 million paid upfront and the remaining 60 million to be paid in 3 installments. However, he failed to meet the payment terms. That is in his case. So, due to this failure to pay the full amount, Asian was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment with hard labor by the Accra High Court. The court noted that his action led to the collapse of the bank and that stealing by a CEO was a serious offense. Now, I don't want to enter more into the case that confronts Atto Asian Williams then. But the collapse of the Capital Bank, he was charged that as a public officer or office holder, money laundering and stealing and all other things is a serious offense. So he was charged 90 million. He paid only 30 million. The rest 60 million he defaulted in paying and not paying on time. The court have to call him back and then he was sentenced to a 15 years imprisonment. So in what case can someone apply for the plea bargain? We will come to that, but let me cite some articles in the Constitution that seek to pursue these people who are corrupt and bring them to book. Now, let's take the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act, which is at 2017 at 959, which empowered the special prosecutor to investigate and prosecute corruption cases. Whilst at 959 doesn't explicitly details plea bargain procedures, Ghana's legal framework allows for plea bargaining under Section 35 of the Court Act. Now, the key aspects of the plea bargain in Ghana is one, negotiation. The prosecution and defense negotiate an agreement where the defendant plead guilty to certain charges in exchange for concession. So it can be that, okay, you plead guilty, we are going to leave you, but the prosecutor can say, we know that you are not the only person who have done this before, or you are not even the person who did what we are charging you for. Maybe there are some bigger feet somewhere, there are some bigger hands somewhere that have pushed you to do this. So we are going to allow you apply for a plea bargain and we will grant you, but in exchange that you will give us vital information that will lead to those behind the incident. Maybe in so doing, we can be able to recover monies that were lost to the state. And we will be able to retrieve something that will benefit us and the state. But when they look at the issue and say, okay, this is not going to benefit us, then they push you in or they leave you. So that is how it works. There must be a negotiation. Once the negotiation goes on, then it has to get to the court. It must have a court approval. So it passes through 3 stages. One, the negotiation stage, and then the court's approval. The plea deal must be approved by the court to ensure it's voluntary and informed. And the benefit is the plea bargain can reduce trials uncertainty, save time and resources, and potentially led to lighter sentence. So that is it over there. Now, in the context of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, plea bargain must be used to facilitate corporations or recover illicit gains. For instance, in the case of William Ato-Essien, former CEO of Defunct Capital Bank, a plea bargain agreement was reached, but he failed to meet the payment terms, resulting in a 15 years prison sentence. You see, when this is done, you must also make sure that you fulfill your part of the agreement. But in a case where they see that you want to be lackadaisical, you don't want to give right information, or the information you are giving is not vital, it's not going to lead to anything, that is where the charge comes in. And it also means you have breached your agreement, or you have vitiated the contract between you and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, or you have vitiated the contract between you and then the prosecutor, and it may end up in jail sentence. Don't forget, if you have just tuned in, you are live on Time Radio TV, and the program coming your way
Time Radio
is the World Uncovered talk show, The Law Clinic, and we are looking at plea bargain, approaching the special prosecutor to apply or to access the plea bargain. Critical looking at how the plea bargain work here in Ghana. Now, the key aspect of plea bargaining under the Court Act is also negotiation, approval, and then the benefits. Now, let's also look at the Court Act. Let's look at the Court Act, which is at 1993, Section 35. Section 35. Offer of compensation or restitution. The Court Act 1993, which is at 459 of Ghana, specifically Section 35, allows for plea bargaining. This section enables defendants to negotiate with prosecutors to plead guilty to certain charges in exchange of concessions such as reduced sentences or dropped charges. Now we have spoken of the key aspects under the Court Act, which is one, the defendant can negotiate with prosecutors to reach a mutually acceptable agreement. The court approval, the plea deal must be approved by the court to ensure it's voluntary and informed. So without the court's approval, it is not going to work. So the court must also sit down and look at the pros and the cons of the case, looking at all these things, and then come up that, okay, fine, we agree, we'll allow him to apply for the plea bargain. And they will see what you are bringing on board, if it will be vital to lead to further information, if it involves the country's economy or something that is a loss to the economy or the country. They will look at it and see how vital those things will help in recovering those things who have been taken or looted by people in government or in public offices or services. Then they agree to the plea, or they themselves will bring their terms and conditions for you to fall in, and if you agree and fall in, and it will be granted. But all this the court must approve, and the benefit is that the plea bargain can reduce your trial uncertainty, save time and resources, and potentially lead to a lighter sentences. I've used the William Ato Asians, former CEO of the defunct Capital Bank, as an example, and the same is there. So let's look at the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure and Amendment Act 2022. Now, plea negotiation in Ghana are governed by the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure and Amendment Act 2022, which is at 1079. Here, this is how this act works. Believe him, those days the act have been sentenced to some few people in government or holding public offices. That has given the special prosecutor the temerity or the legal ground to be able to pursue these people, hold them responsible, just like in the case of the former finance minister Ken Ofori Atta, that the special prosecutor is smoking him out to make sure that what belongs to the state is being recovered. So with the negotiation, If unfortunately the former finance minister refused to honor his side, then the red flag will be given. Interpol will come in, and the ways and means that they will be able to get him on board, they will go by it. But if he was able to fulfill his part of the promise and come by that June 21st, then issues will go the normal way. And if the charges laid is heavier than him, he can apply for plea bargain. But thank God, when the last administration came into power, they were able to look at this and amend these things and then elaborate it, that it covers some other people in the country or in government, and it spread to other courts. First, it was only to the Supreme Court, but now we have the High Court, the upper, and then the other lower courts that can also exercise or access this plea bargain. So we are looking at the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure and Amendment Act, which is Act 2020 at 1079. And it's a significant development in Ghana's justice system, introducing plea bargain to administrations of criminal justice. Here is what you need to know. One, the purpose of this act is to allow defendants to negotiate with the Attorney General for a plea agreement, enabling them to plead guilty to reduce charges or withdraw certain charges. So when these criminals are being caught, maybe using public office to dupe people, or using public office illegally, or involved in corruption, and they are being caught, or the office of the special prosecutor hold them accountable and responsible to their action, they see that, okay, where the issue has gotten to is likely I might go to jail, then they offer in to plea deal, where they approach the Attorney General and then say, okay, we are guilty for of the charges laid against us, but we want a second chance, and everyone deserves a second chance. So they will say, okay, this is what we are going to do. They come in agreement, and then the court has to approve of it. Then you are given the plea deal. Even though you are guilty of the charge, they will not send you to prison, but there are other terms you have to fulfill to savor your freedom, even though you will be seen and recognized as an ex-convict. This is serious. So the purpose, as I said, is to allow these people negotiate, and then it goes on. The key provision is plea negotiations. Defendants can initiate plea negotiation with the Attorney General or prosecutors authorized by the Attorney General. That is how it works. Now, the plea agreement terms. The plea agreement terms goes this way. Agreement may include reduced charges. That means the charges leveled against you, they will drop some, they will leave some, and then carry on with some. Sentence recommendations. So for you to be sentenced to maybe 20 years, 25 years, or even 10 years, 5 years imprisonment, when you apply for plea bargain or plea deal, they will reduce the sentence. They will look at the vitality of the informations or things you are putting in place. They will look at the pros and the cons of the case, and then also, okay, fine, we want to sentence you to a 10 years or 15 years imprisonment, but because of the plea bargain, we are bringing it to maybe 5 years or 6 years or 3 years or maybe 1 year. It can even be a day imprisonment. That is how the plea deal works in Ghana here. And this is to everyone. Look, everyone, but everyone can access it. But looking at the jurisdiction of the case or of the issue, that also matters a lot. Now, the court approval, which I've also said already, but there are some exceptions. There are some exceptions, and these exceptions, for them, there is nothing like plea deal involved. The plea deal cannot work in these cases. Cases like treason or high treason, you cannot apply for a plea bargain, because these are serious offenses. These are serious offenses that nobody will give you a plea bargain or enter into a plea bargain with you when you are being noticed that you are involved in treason or high treason. 2, high crimes. High crimes. 3, rape. When you are found guilty of rape, nobody will give you or will enter into any plea deal with you, because these are serious issues that you cannot access plea bargain. Defilement, genocide, murder, robbery, kidnapping, piracy, hijacking, human trafficking, and others. When you are caught, there is nothing like plea bargain for you. Offenses related to public elections. When you are caught, there is nothing like plea bargain for you. That one, you are going to jail straight. So we should take note of that. Now, the implementation. The act came into effect after President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo assent on July 22nd, 2022. The training program are being organized for judges, prosecutors, and other stakeholders to ensure effective implementation of the plea deal. Now, the overall reason for the act is aimed to promote efficiency, justice delivery, reduce trial uncertainty, and provide benefit for both defendants and victims. So that is the plea bargain, or that is how the plea bargain works. That is how it works. But as I said, issues that confront like defilement, genocide, murder, robbery, kidnapping, and all others, piracy and all that, when you are caught, there is nothing like plea bargain for you. Now, the question someone may ask is, what if our case, or what if your case has been concluded and you are sentenced to a jail term? Can you still apply for a plea bargain, or will you go and apply for appeal and then you come back for a plea bargain? According to my lawyer, he said no. Once the case have been determined and you are sentenced, that ends it. You cannot access any plea bargain again. And in the course of the judgment, or in the day of judgment, maybe the case is determined today, tomorrow they will give a judgment, and in the process you look at, oh no, I think I need, by consulting your lawyer. Please, in all these things, before you take any of these actions, you have to consult your lawyer or your legal defender. You have to consult him, or anyone that is defending your case. You consult him, you look at the pros and the cons of the case before you go in and apply for this plea deal. So in the process of the determination of your case, on the day of judgment, you can apply for a plea bargain. And when you apply to it, they will hold on with the case and then go through it and see if it is necessary. If it is necessary, you may be awarded that. Now, someone may also ask, what if on the day of judgment you come for plea bargain and the Attorney General said no? What happens then? According to my lawyer, if the Attorney General said no, then it's no. There is nothing you can do again. The plea bargain cannot work. It means you are going to jail. And as I said, someone may also ask, what if before judgment is delivered, you ask for the plea bargain? These are some of the questions people pose. And I said, if before judgment you apply for the plea bargain, you may be considered. They will go through it, and then if you are lucky and they see what you are bringing on board, or what they bring on board, you can go by it, then you will be granted the plea deal. And another person also may be asking that why is this plea bargain not extended to cover court deals with minor cases and give other punishments to avoid overcrowding in our prisons? Now, we started from a level. First, it was the Supreme Court is that disseminates to the high courts, now to the magistrate courts, and other courts can access this. But for so many times now, some of us have been advocating for these minor crimes that people commit, and then they sentence them to 10 years imprisonment and all other stuff. Now, what we are advocating for is that these people can be granted this plea deal, and then the punishment given to them, they will not go to jail, but we give them hard labor in the community that they will do, that will serve as a deterrent, a punishment to them. And once that is served, it will serve like they have been in prison, to avoid so many cases, delay, and then also overcrowding in our prison houses. These are some of the things we are calling for, and we know at the right time this will be looked at, and then the necessary changes will be done. Quickly, let's move from there to section 162M, setting aside judgment in section 162.4. Now, in the section that we are talking about, which is section So if you're just tuning your life on Time Radio TV, and is the World Uncovered talk show coming your way, the Legal Clinic, this afternoon. Shortly I will be out of here. My time is almost up, but let's do the last one. Today we are looking at plea bargain. Plea bargain. Approaching the Attorney General for plea bargains and critical analysis on how the plea bargain works in Ghana here. Now, we are talking of section 162M, setting aside judgment. It appears, okay, now the possible implication: one, setting aside a judgment. This typically means rendering a previous judgment null and void. The section 1624 might refer to a specific section within a larger legal framework. Now, to better understand the implication of section 162M and its relationship to section 164, we must consider: one, consulting a relevant laws. And in that, you must also seek professional advice. Talk to lawyer or legal expert on this before it is taken. So lastly on this, let me give this example on the section 162 4 and N. Now we take this, the Republic versus the High Court, Accra ex-party Dr. Ernest Esiedu Safo. Now, when we look at that case, this case discusses the rules surrounding default judgment and declaratory relief. The UTAC Winneba versus Unknown. This case also highlights the importance of following proper procedures in court proceeding. So all these two cases I have mentioned are part of using the section 162M, which is setting aside judgment, in the section 162 clause 4 or 4 of the Constitution. So the plea bargain can be accessed by everybody, but we pray that things will be put in place, and this will extend to other legal matters or issues that confront us day in, day out. So you should know that as an individual, when you fall into any form of challenge and you see that this is beyond you and will lead you, or that issue can lead you to a prison term, you have the legal right to apply for a plea bargain. You have a legal right to apply for a plea bargain. I think if most of our youths and young ones knew this, they will not be in prison by now. Or even if they will go to prison, their jail sentence may be reduced, or charges may be dropped, and they will still go under punishment, but it will save a lot of time and resources. So know this, that wherever you find yourself in any challenge and you plead guilty to the charge, knowing that this challenge can lead you to prison terms, you can actually consult your lawyer, and then you approach the Attorney General and apply for plea bargain. Tomorrow we will still continue, and I will make sure our lawyers join me on the topic in the house, and they will do more justice to it. My time is up. I will have to end today's own here. Don't forget, this is Time Radio TV, the world uncovered talk show coming your way live from our studios here in the Greater Accra region. To those who have joined me on Facebook, I say thank you so much. And those who have joined me on TikTok, I say thank you so much. I'll be back shortly to conclude. Welcome back once again. The plea negotiation in Ghana are governed by the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure and Amendment Act 2022, which is at 1079. Now, who can initiate the plea bargain? Who can initiate the plea bargain? Plea negotiation can be initiated by the accused person, which I said, if you find yourself in trouble and you know that this trouble is going to land you in jail, maybe you are being arrested, arranged for court or to court, and you say that this issue is going to go against me, quickly you can initiate a plea deal. You can initiate a plea deal. So the accused person can initiate the plea deal. Their counsel can also do that, or the prosecutor in charge of the case can also do that. Now, the purpose of the plea deal, the goal is to reach a mutual acceptance agreement where the accused plead guilty to certain charges in exchange for concessions such as reduced charges, reducing an offense charge to a lesser offense. So once you do that, the charges raised against you will be leveraged down to a lesser offense. Withdraw charges. You might be lucky, the charges will be withdrawn. Withdrawing a charge against the accused person. So when you plead guilty, you might be lucky that they will withdraw the charge against you and you will go. Sentence recommendations. Recommending a sentence or range of sentence to the court. So when you enter into the plea deal, the court, the prosecutor, they will arrange, okay, now instead of 10 years, let's give him 3 weeks so that he will learn from it. That is how the plea deal work here in Ghana. Or maybe instead of 5 years, let's give him 3 years or 2 years or 1 year. They can even come to agreement that, okay, let's give him some 1 day in prison. And it has happened before here in Ghana. That 1 day, they put him there. And then, even it can be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour in prison. You come back, ex-convict. So, it is all in agreement and then looking at the pros and the cons of the cases or the issue at hand. Compensation or restitution. So when they enter into the plea deal, it can be a payment of compensation to victims or making restitution. Restitution means whatever you have stolen, you restore it back and you pay more on it. As I gave example already, if it is a goat you have stolen and unfortunately you killed it and prepared the meat, you return the goat sorry, you return the goat's meat, and then you have to add an amount of money that may be determined by the court or the prosecutor, or you yourself, you come up with it and know that this will play the victim, and you pay it attached to the the meat or the grocery you have stolen or whatever it is you have looted. You restore it, and then with an amount of money. That is what we are saying. You compensate the victim, or it goes by making restitution. Then the charge will be withdrawn against you, or a lesser sentence will be given unto you. The procedure is that the prosecutor and accused person or other counsels will negotiate the term of the plea agreement, which must be in a writing and signed by both parties. So the procedure is that the prosecutor and the defendant or the accused, with the prosecutor, will come in a written format, an agreement, or your counsel, your legal counsel, can enter into that negotiation terms with the prosecutor, and this will be written in a written form. You will sign, the prosecutor will sign, and all other witnesses will sign, and then it will be presented to the court for approval. So when they do that, both parties will sign. Now from there, it is taken to the court. The plea agreement must be approved by the court, ensuring it's voluntary and informed. So when it passed through the first stage, the court will now have to approve it. If the court approved it, then you are lucky. Now, exceptions. There are some exceptions to this. Certain serious offenses are excluded, and those excluded offenses from the plea bargaining I have mentioned earlier on. That includes treason, high crime, rape, defilement, genocide, robbery, kidnapping, murder, hijacking, piracy, human trafficking, etc., etc., etc. All these things, when you are found involved in it, there will not be any plea bargain for you. You are going to jail. That is why, as young upcoming people, we need to be very vigilant and make sure we don't involve ourselves into issues that will land us in prison. But if unfortunately you find yourself in that case, there is a chance that you can plead for plea bargain, and issues will be dealt with amicably, and you may reduce your sentence, or you go in for compensation or restitution, and charges may be withdrawn against you, and you go your free life. It can be that nobody will see you as an ex-convict, and then in some case you're still an ex-convict because it has been pronounced on you, since you agree to be guilty to the case. Let us be very watchful and careful the way we handle ourselves and our lives. This is where time will permit me to end today's topic or program, the World Uncovered Talk Show. Tomorrow we continue from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. If you have just tuned in, the topic we just dealt or critically looked at is plea bargain, approaching the Attorney General for plea bargains, and how the plea bargain system works here in Ghana. Let me use this opportunity to also say a very thanks to my producer and my directors and all who have made the program a success this evening. Thank you all. And also to remind you that 30th to 1st of June, 3 days of glory will be taking place in the Greater House Chapel International with Prophet Elijah from Nigeria and the Pastor Jesus Love, the founder and the leader of the Greater House Chapel at East Legon APSA Hostel, the office of the Vice Chancellor. That is where the program will be coming on at Legon. Make sure you join from the 30th to the 1st of June 2025. If you want to be part of this program, you want to sponsor us, you want to run adverts on our platforms, please check on Facebook, get our contact and call us, or call 050-8980-402 or 401 and talk with our marketing department. Negotiations will go on and we will come and do the videoing and everything for you, and we play on our platform to market your business for you. So this is where time will permit me. Thank you all for joining me. Don't forget, tomorrow exactly 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. the Timeline Morning Show will be coming your way live from our studios here, and all other programs will follow suit. So till we meet again tomorrow, the name still remains Nana Bonsu. Have the best of your evening. Bye bye.